Welcome to COB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharan Raghavan.
Hi, this is COB, Conversations on the Business of Brands, and I'm Sharan.
And I'm Sudeep.
Sudeep, the IPL is started. RCB fans are still hoping for a win. CSK is sure of getting a win. And Dhoni is going to retire in style.
Hopefully.
But my question is, IPL is equated to the Super Bowl of India, right? So Super Bowl is where the major brands launch their campaigns. They have the celebrities performing. And in fact, Apple's 1983, the ad was launched at Super Bowl. It's become so famous. And every brand that launches an ad at the Super Bowl is spoken about. It's a big property. Now, are brands leveraging IPL the same way, or should they even leverage IPL the same way in communication advertising?
Yeah, I think it'll not be unfair to say that IPL possibly is in the same league as Super Bowl in India. Every country would have one or the other media property that gives you the maximum amount of reach with the maximum amount of impact. And I think IPL comes very close to that. Only thing that might beat IPL in terms of rating per match possibly would be a World Cup match of India, and maybe India versus Pakistan, etc.
Right.
But otherwise, from a sustained property point of view, IPL is more or less there. And you're right that a lot of the brands, the big as well as small, the new as well as the old, the incumbents as well as the startups, all of them find IPL very, very lucrative.
Okay.
So therefore, everybody wants to get onto IPL.
When you say lucrative, you mean the reach they can get in these campaigns?
The reach, or the kind of visibility they can get, making their brands a talking point, etc. But you know what? The numbers that we are talking in terms of participating on IPL are very big. So it has to be very, very considered call.
I know it's big, but how big? So you actively advertising your brands. I'm not sure if they're there in the IPL, but how big is the IPL property?
Now, I've done IPL in the past, so it's not about how much did we put in, etc. But the fact is that, see, your title and associate sponsor would have put in about 5,000, 6,000 crores. There's about 1,000 crores that will come in from your associate and other sponsors. Then there are team sponsors, logo sponsors, etc., etc. And then there are other properties around IPL, your YouTube and other talk shows and all of that. All of them pulled together, the rough estimate is that about 8,000 crores gets spent across roughly estimated 300 brands. Right?
Wow.
So roughly about 25 to 30 crore a brand. That's the rough estimate. Now, obviously, the title sponsor and everybody would end up spending much more. Right. But that's the rough average, on variety of mediums across variety of properties. So those are the sort of numbers that we are talking about. And, you're talking about brands from various walks of life, brands with, some amount of lineage, some amount of visibility already there, brands with big budget celebrities, brands with big budgets being spent also. So therefore, with so many brands, so much money, so much firepower, you can be rest assured that standing out is going to be tough.
Exactly. Right. So when it was a Reckitt, there was this big argument that we had internally when Harpic had advertised for an IPL match. So we said, there was one camp saying Harpic has no business being on IPL because if it's talking to women who are the primary decision makers, they don't need to be targeted on IPL. The other camp said everybody in the house has no choice but to watch IPL. And therefore, Harpic is right to be on IPL. So let me put that question to you. When it's so expensive and there's so much competition to stand out despite paying the money, how does a brand decide whether or not to advertise on IPL?
Nice, interesting one, and a great question, Sharan. The debate that you had on Harpic, I'm sure almost every brand has a minor or major version of it within their offices in the
Absolutely.
October-December quarter. Yeah. when they're deciding the budgets for the next year or the next quarter or whichever way. IPL is now known to be a property which targets almost every TG. It brings in family viewership. It almost becomes a family occasion. So therefore, purely from females being there, homemakers being there, it is completely right. There's no problem with it. Yeah. The pertinent question to ask is, apart from the TG, why would Harpic want to be on IPL? Yeah. And I would possibly, although there are quite a few things, you talk to a media planner, they'll tell you a lot of factors to look at. I would put it down to three big factors. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the first factor is around category and brand consumption. So there are certain categories and brands where significant part of year's consumption happened during this quarter.
As in the consumption of the product happens in this quarter.
Correct. Ice cream, soft drinks, coolers, ACs, fans, etc., right? Now, those brands have no other option but to be salient in this quarter. Yeah.
Right.
Now, there are different ways of becoming salient. IPL is one of them, but they will have to become salient. So therefore, IPL becomes an option for them. Yeah.
Right.
So if you're a brand that doesn't have as much salience in this quarter, and this quarter is as good as any other quarter for you, you must reconsider. Right. So that becomes your first.
Because there are other options for you to spend your money wisely.
Lots of. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Second bit, I think also is when they say that you should only, live within your means, that says about the brands also. If you're going to spend about 30-40 crores or 25-30 crores on IPL in the first quarter, you bloody well have about 70-80 crores for you to spend during the year. Yeah. It is a known fact. A lot of the media planners will tell you that sustained salience over the next 3 quarters possibly will be much more valuable for you rather than just a crash and burn kind of a strategy during IPL. Yeah.
Got it.
Especially if your consumption is not as much skewed as some of the summer categories. Yeah. So therefore, apart from, category and brand consumption, the second factor becomes budget.
I get the category point. I get the budget point, Sudeep. You said there were 3. What's the third factor?
The third factor is something that you have to really think about. Even if if the quarter is relevant for your consumption, even if you have budgets, you should think about the third factor, which is brand task. IPL is a high impact, high awareness medium, high reach medium. Yeah. Right. So therefore, you must ride it if you want to build very high reach very fast. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to just.
But wouldn't all brands want to do that?
I would possibly say no. You can build very high reach over a period of time, over a period of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, etc. Right? Usually, brand choose tasks of impact when they have a new message that they want to reach out to people quite fast, or they have a new proposition, or they have a new celebrity, or they have a new advertising, etc. Yeah. So therefore, if you're a brand that has a working advertisement which works very well for you, you have no reason to change it, etc., and you are okay to reach your TG within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, yeah, you might as well do that, right? Rather than force fitting your media plan onto IPL. So therefore, category consumption, category and brand consumption, budgets, and the brand task, in that order.
Got it. But I have my clients to fight for here. My clients could possibly tick the first box, which is category consumption, because some of them are snacking summer brands. And they will tick even third box, saying they need to do it now because they are summer brands, they need to be active now. But most of my clients never tick the budget box. They don't have such a high budget to play in the IPL. So if not IPL, what can they do?
IPL is not the only thing playing during these days. Right? Now, I've seen media numbers over the last 6, 7, 8 years. And repeatedly, every year we do this exercise and the team comes back and tell us that because of IPL, the viewership of other genres, like your general entertainment channel, your other sports channel, your movies, etc. goes down. The genre which does not go down as much, it is news. Other entertainment option go down as quite a bit, but news more or less holds on its own. Yeah, it possibly deviates only by about 10-12%. Right? So therefore, if you look at your media plan and if you are able to carefully choose your genres, you should be able to make a decent non-IPL media plan also. If you're smart enough, you're also looking at other events in the country which might impact news. Right? For example, when you have a Ram Mandir inauguration, the news viewership is bound to go up. Now, this time around, IPL is going to be challenged by elections. Yeah, this is the election year. So, in fact, before election also, right now, the political environment is completely heated. Right? So, news does get played. A lot of the news might not be consumed by women audiences. Right? But if your audience is male 30-35 plus, news gives you an excellent alternative to IPL. So, therefore, my response to your clients possibly will be that if you must advertise during this quarter, and if you don't have that kind of budget, you can think of media plan outside of IPL as well. Right? It might be a little bit suboptimal as compared to a regular media plan, which was happening in a non-IPL day. But I would still say it is better value for money rather than putting your entire first half or full year budgets on IPL and then have nothing to spend the rest of the year.
Got it. Okay. But do you recommend that they do this though? Well, it is going to be suboptimal in some are focusing just on the news channel.
Yeah, I believe so. So see, I'm not saying just advertise on news channel. I'm saying news channel gives you excellent reach. You would still advertise on GEC, General Entertainment Channel, etc. While the viewership is low, it still has viewership. Yeah. And the fact is that if you must create salience during this quarter, you should use some of these options. So therefore, it is not that IPL is the only option, right? But if you tick those three boxes, it is a great option for you. But if you don't tick any of those three boxes, you must certainly reconsider. And that is how I'll rest my case.
Perfect. And if you don't need salience in the same quarter, then you can go on for the rest of the year. And you would say that's even better than just doing an IPL.
Yeah, of course. Burst. So if you do, so that goes to your first box, which is if your category is not as as greatly salient or as greatly skewed during this quarter, you might as well completely avoid and spend over the rest of the 3 quarters, and your consumers and your brand will be better served by that strategy.
Perfect. And thank you so much for helping my clients on this.
Thank you very much, Karan. Please send my cut. Thank
on
you.
its way.
Thank you for listening to COB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharan and Sudeep. Subscribe and learn more at cobcast.net. That's COBBCAST.net.